rights and justice.
For the future generation. The men and women of tomorrow. They are the youths of today. And if you want a brighter future, you got to come and show the youths the way. Say the men and women of tomorrow. They are the youths of today. And if you want a brighter future, be careful of what you do and what you say.
Tell them if them live in a righteousness and Zion bound. Tell them if them dwell in a evil works, them going down. Tell them take a look down in our cities and towns. They say more dogs, they are more than bones. Equal rights and justice, it is nowhere around. Love for one another, it's all gone to the ground. Parents don't you dare leave their kids on their own. The future of our nation begins with the teaching from the young, the man and woman of tomorrow.
They are the youths of today. And if you want a brighter future, you got to come and show the youths the way. They're the men and women of tomorrow. They are the youths of today. And if you want a brighter future, be careful of what you do and what you say. Inequality, injustice, hypocrisy, poverty, violence, discrimination, politics. Need I say more? We need to stand firm and be one in these times that are so dark. Be the change that you want to see if you want to see a change in your society.
The man and woman of tomorrow.
They are the youths of today. And if you want a brighter future, you got to come and show the youths the way. All the men and women of tomorrow. Yeah. They are the youths of today. And if you want a brighter future, be careful of what you do and what you say.
When I look in our world today, do right for tomorrow, so the youth will have a place to play. Whoa. So many youths get slaves, some die as a done before they reach to age 21. So tell them say crime don't pay. What we say the man and woman of tomorrow.
They are the youths of today. And if you want a brighter future, you got to come and show the youths the way. They're the men and women of tomorrow. And if you want a brighter future, you know what to do and what to say. When I look in your world today, youths will have a place to play. The men and women of tomorrow. They are the youths of today. And if you want a brighter future, you got to come and show the youths the way. Say the men and women of tomorrow. They are the youths of today. And if you want a brighter future, be careful of what you do and what you say.
Tell them if them live in a righteousness and Zion bound. Tell them if them dwell in a evil works, them going down. Tell them take a look down in our cities and towns. They say more dogs, they are more than bones. Equal rights and justice, it is nowhere around. Love for one another, it's all gone to the ground. Parents don't you
So now I hope you can hear me, guys. We had a little bit of technical issues, but my name is Salma Murakaru and I'll be the moderator for the day. Yes, karibuni sana kwa Straight Talk Live. Today is Sexual Health Day. In 2010, World Association for Sexual Health decided to mark 4th September as World Sexual Health Day. It observed it every year, and the goal is to break the norm of societal and cultural taboos surrounding sexuality. And we have a panel of guests that are ready to join me to host this program and celebrate this day. The theme is Turn It On, and the hashtag is Sexual Health Day 2021. So go on your Twitters, go on your social medias, and share the live. Share the information, whatever you have, any questions, any inquiries, please share with us. The hashtag is Sexual Health Day. The hashtag is Straight Talk Kenya, at Straight Talk Kenya, on Facebook, on Twitter. Join the conversation. And with me, I have a panel of guests that will be sharing information on Sexual Health Day on a digital way. So I'll introduce my first guest, Lisa Mary Ann. Lisa Mary Ann, please tell us more about yourself, but don't take a lot of time because we, don't have that time. Karibu sana dada.
Thank you so much, Salma. Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa Miriam. I am from Kiambu County, and I'm a reproductive health advocate here in Kiambu as well as Nairobi. And I'm also currently doing projects that are expanding my reach within Kenya. And I hope one day I'll reach the global platform, because the main goal is to advocate for change, advocate for better policies, so that adolescent girls and young women as well as young people have the opportunities to enjoy their rights freely and free from coercion, discrimination, or violence. I hope to continue engaging with you as we learn from each other. Thank you.
So have Alfred Abuka, then we'll have Fahe Kerubo and Lucy Kombe. They will be introducing themselves, then we'll get straight to the point. So Alfred.
Hi everyone. I'm Alfred Abuka, sexual reproductive health advocate. Yeah, the founder of Me and You for Her. So basically, I champion for menstrual hygiene and seeing how I can bring more male allies in this menstrual hygiene conversation. Yeah, thank you.
So much, Alfred. Thank you so much. We need more men to be fighting for the rights, more men for transformative sexual education, transformative masculinity. And thank you for having us, for being with us and engaging with us. And next we have Fahe. Fahe, please introduce yourself so that people may know you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Fahe Kerubo. I'm a sexual reproductive health and rights youth advocate and a gender issues activist, working with Positive Young Women Voices, a community-based organization that actually advocates for sexual reproductive health and rights for all people in all their in all their diversities. So I'm happy to share, and I hope to learn and share on this day. Thank you. Back to you, Salma.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Fahe. Karibu sana. I know you're from the coast, so kuna joto endo unasikia vizuri hapo juu ya ma ice, unasikia vizuri as we are here cold season na socks wacha tu. Anyway, that's why you're seeing me with a Marvin. Don't worry. Just be happy, eh? And then we have Lucy. Lucy, kindly introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lucy Kombe. I work as the program assistant at Zamara Foundation. Zamara Foundation is a women-led and is a feminist organization that is mandated, and our main focus is just championing for women's rights and girls' rights. and just strengthening their voices, amplifying their voices using the different platforms that are already existing. So I'm really glad to be here to just have the feminist perspective of how we have used the digital platform and how that then translates to more information and more engagement with the young women and girls in all their diversities. So I'm really glad to be here. I'm looking forward to the discussion and the deliberations from this. Back to you, Salma.
Thank you so much, Lucy. I see you're more engaged in the digital world. So today the theme is Turn It On, Sexual Health Day. So I know for sure we'll get some good pointers from you. Thank you for just gracing us. We really, really appreciate. We also have on standby Martha Kombe on the ground, just talking to the youth to tell us what's happening. Hi, Martha. I can see you. You're very secure and safe, and you're in Isili. Can you kindly tell us what is happening on the ground with regards to Sexual Health Day that is being celebrated today on the 4th of September?
So I'm Martha Kombe, the program officer, State of Foundation, and I'm live at Family Health Options Kenya, straight at Isili, from Isili, and we have young people around that are very eager to join into the discussion. We have maintained a small group since there's issues to do with COVID regulations, and maybe they can introduce themselves a little bit, very fast, guys. Say hi. Hi. So we're here, very excited about the conversation, and we are going to converse and discuss about how to turn it on. Yes, back to you, Salma.
Okay, thank you so much. So I hope I'm not leaving anyone else. We were going to be joined by also a guest from Homa Bay, if I'm not wrong. I hope she's live. So can we get her? Not yet. So we will start the conversation, and yes, I think we're being joined live. So Omache, take it away. Okay, there seems to be a technical issue, but we'll get back to that. Anyway, straight to the discussion. I have experts today. I have experts today with me, and they are going to engage more on Sexual Health Day. So please share the live, and the hashtag is Straight Talk KE. The hashtag is Sexual Health KE. Thank you for being part of the change that we want to see in this world. As I said, my name is Salma Murakaru. I'm also a sexual advocate, SRHR advocate, and also an activist for gender-based violence. And I'm also an activist using music, reggae music, to spread positive vibes and to inform the young people. Back to the questions, and I'll start. Why is Sexual Health Day important? I think I'm going to ask all my panelists to just tell me why is it important for them that Sexual Health Day is today on the 4th of September, and why is it really important? I'll start with Lisa, then I'll go to Lucy, and then Fahe. Yes, please.
So World Sexual Health Day is really important because it's an opportunity to raise awareness about issues surrounding sexual and reproductive health, and as well as educating or creating awareness to the world so that they are able to not only view it as a reproductive rights health as a reproductive issue, but also view it from a rights-based angle and a rights-based perspective, because reproductive health is not just an issue that people, have to deal with on a daily basis, but it's also their right to enjoy it in a space where, they are free, it is non-judgmental, and they can be able to express themselves freely without, judgment, coercion, or violence. It's also an important time to tie reproductive health rights to the social, cultural, and economic aspect of life. This is a part that many people really forget about, and we don't realize that, for example, if we have increased teen pregnancies, it's going to affect the futures of these young girls, and eventually it is going to affect the economic state, not only of their lives, of their families, of their communities, but of their entire nation, because they will not be able to, be meaningfully engaged and contribute in a meaningful way back to their communities. It's also an opportunity to normalize these conversations by demystifying myths and misconceptions, and shaping new attitudes with regards to reproductive health, also rejecting cultural norms or retrogressive cultural practices that are harmful to young girls, women, as well as even men. Yeah, so it's a great opportunity. And also the biggest one of all, it's for us to engage not only our communities, but the world in these conversations.
I also have a question on that, and I'm going to go straight to Lucy. Same question, but now you are dealing with it on a digital way. And today the hashtag is, we're talking about the digital way and how we can incorporate it. So why do you think that is important, Lucy?
Well, all has been, or much has been said by Lisa, but just to anchor and to amplify what she has been saying, is now using these platforms that are already there, not only just to bring entertainment or news or just entertainment in general, but to also bring the awareness perspective. Awareness in terms of now, what are the gaps, what is the status of sexual reproductive health this year, for example, and what is happening outside within the region and also within the country. The digital platform as well is there just also to amplify what is on the ground as well. So we are using these platforms like social media platforms, the mainstream media, the traditional media, like the radio stations, the print media as well, to amplify what is actually happening in the status of SRHR on the ground to more people. So using digital platform, we not only bring awareness, but we also bring the aspect of advocacy, because we also have different actors and different decision makers within these platforms. So we not only highlight the awareness of this day, but we also do advocacy and also just having a continuous conversation on how to change the status quo, and also just to challenge patriarchy as well, in the spirit of just raising the awareness of sexual reproductive health. Yeah, back to you, Salma. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Alfred, thank you for joining us. Ulikuwa mteja kidogo eh? Anyway, Alfred, in terms of, we're trying to advocate for change, sexual reproductive health, in terms of inclusion, which is for all. And the man has a role to play in terms of sexual health, in terms of the digital era, leave alone the points which my guests have shared. But you, as a man in the male dynasty, how do you see this working? Because we need more men to participate. So how do you engage, and how do you use your organization, you as an SRHR advocate, especially with sexual health? It's all about mental health, it's all about physical health. How do you engage with the men to be part of the conversation?
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, first is we should acknowledge that sexual health, it's part of the bigger picture in regards to health. So we cannot disassociate sexual health with health. Then here comes, if we cannot disassociate, then health is a very vital component when it comes to life of any individual. So this includes also men. And then the other thing is bringing men on board for them to champion for issues at a holistic level, to champion issues that not only affect men but also other groups, does not mean that we are like denying men. Sometimes we work with that principle. If I champion issues that don't affect me, that means I'm neglecting my part. So like for now here, we most of the time we have to base on the needs, and then the other thing is the vulnerability index, where which group is being affected most, which group is maybe lacking, so that we can focus more, we can allocate more, and we can come together to see how we can address the entire issue around sexual reproductive health, as an holistic issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Fahe, I have a question for you. How do we create awareness using social media? Yet, yes, the era is digital. Everyone is going digital. Even now, if you're holding meetings, it's digital because of Corona and everything that has happened with the scandemic, let me say pandemic. If I say scandemic, naweza leta mashida kidogo. Anyway, so kuna wale wase, they do not have access to internet. How do we reach them? Sawa, there are people on the ground, but kuna wale, I feel like there have been so many cases happening, and we've been seeing on news, and these happenings have been in ushago settings, like the farms and places like Muranga and whatever. And you find these cases are happening because the only way they got that information, or the only way that information was given, is through the news. So how do we bridge that gap in terms of today being digital and all that, and we're talking about sexual health? Are we getting there, or what can we do better?
Thank you so much, Salma. So I'll begin by mentioning that sexual health is a vital part of a person's overall well-being or wellness. So the ways in which a person takes care of themselves sexually, it actually makes a big difference. There's a major difference that comes with that in terms of quality of life. So having said that, it's very important to always factor in the fact that the limitations that people have. As you've mentioned, not everyone is on the social media platforms. Let me just say maybe Facebook, maybe Twitter and stuff like that. We have people in the rural places. We have young people who cannot access such platforms. So that is why it's very important having peer-to-peer, peer-to-peer initiatives that make sure that these people who do not get this information on our social media platforms can as well get the information. We also need to privilege on things like the radio. Radio is much more spread, and it's something that is being listened to more by a bigger range of people if we compare that with the ones who are online, for example, on Facebook or on Twitter. So those, understanding those dynamics and working towards breaching that gap by essentially putting in measures that work for this population is very important. So I think, having said that, Salma, I think I'll hand it back to you for more information. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think this is very important questions because we want to reach out to everyone we can as possible. And with the pandemic, things have changed for sure, and they have been challenging. So my question to all of you being in different organizations, I will start with Mary, and then I will go to Lucy, and then please, just a small, like 1 minute, you tell me, how do we create opportunities to inform, to create digital platforms where young people can engage, get the network they deserve, get even jobs, that they can get it, because it's tough right now for youth, youths are going through a lot. Unaona mtu anapigwa ngeta, unaona wanakaa kwa base, wanakula mugoka. How do we empower them? Yes, there's the peer-to-peer that has been mentioned by Fahe, going to the ground, which is also challenging because you need ICT materials, you need the right information, you need someone from that community who is well known so that you're not labeled and nothing happens to you. So I need you to tell me, how are we going to spread this information? How are we going to create opportunities for the youth? How is the digital platform going to help youth like me who have maybe no idea about the information that is happening? They don't have information about even something to do with World Health Sex Day. And I'll start with you, Mary, please.
Thank you, Salma, for that question. Indeed, the challenges are many when it comes to reaching grassroots people or grassroots communities with regards to, offering them digital spaces for access of information, or even digital spaces for communication, or just even networking. So one of the key solutions that I think can help us to minimize this gap is ensuring that there's collaborative action. What do I mean by collaborative action? Most of us as CSOs, yes, we want to implement change, we want to create impact, but we forget the power of partnership. And sometimes I might be here in Kiambu or in Nairobi, but I want to reach a community, maybe in Narok, in Samburu, or Kajiado, and I don't have the capacity to do that, especially now with the COVID guidelines. Outreaches have become very minimal. So one of the first things that I'll do is maybe map organizations that are already there at the grassroots level and partner with them so that we are able to share accurate SRHR information. Also, right now, currently, I know Google is having an opportunity for creating free cyberspaces in grassroots communities, just so that people are linked to, the digital space. They're able to get free computer training, and also, linked to social media opportunities. And then another thing is also collaborating with county governments and also national governments. As we know, as CSOs, no matter how powerful or no matter the kind of funding that we have, we might not be able to outdo what the government does, or even, create better change as compared to government. So it's really key and important to collaborate with government institutions, especially county governments, because they're the ones at the grassroots level, so that we are able to share accurate information, so that people have access to digital spaces. I can share an example. I recently was doing an activity in a grassroots community, and we were forming a technical working group whereby we wanted to engage young people, build their capacity on SRH so that they can be champions at the community level, and also educate young people and normalize this conversation, being that they were in a very conservative cultural setup. And when we were even opening for them emails, some of them didn't know what an email is. When we were trying to, teach them how to use Zoom for communication purposes, because we are not based in their community, it was such a challenge. So it is important that as much as we go to the grassroots setups to teach them, create awareness, or even take policymakers there and educate them on the legal aspect of why SRHR is important and it's a rights issue, it's also important that we include the digital part. As I mentioned, collaborate with, people who are willing to open free cyberspaces and digital platforms for them and educate them. Sometimes it is not difficult to just go with your phone and tell someone, haya, by the way, unajua Facebook, unajua kuna kuanga na Facebook free in case hauna data, let me show you on my phone, When we go to the grassroots communities, let us be humble and be ready to teach and create more awareness for them. And I genuinely feel that with collaborative action, we can be able to, to take the digital space back to the grassroots communities and empower them, not only from a digital or a tech angle, because personally I'm not that good in tech, but I know a few tricks here and there, and also we'll be able to achieve our goal of creating more SRHR awareness and advocacy issues. Sorry.
Thank you so much. I guess you have summarized it, Yani. Like, you have just taken the ball and you have cooked everything, Yani. Because you have gotten collaborative partnerships, mapping and sharing, cyber spaces, national and government partnerships, teaching people to know how to do emails, to open their own Googles and whatnot. You know, I'm also seeing we're being joined here by Mr. Omache. Karibu sana, karibu sana. But before we go to Mr. Omache, and just to spice it up kidogo, thank you so much, my panelists. You're doing a good job. You're very wise. Hey. I feel my job is so easy, yani ni kurusha kaswali kanakuja. But before turudi kwa grao kiasi, let's see what Martha and the youth there, they might have been something, they've been listening to our conversation, and I believe maybe they have some questions that they want to pose for the panels before we continue. I'll see you. So Martha, back to you. Could we get Martha? Martha, when you're ready, please join us and let us know what is happening on the other side. Mr. Omache, karibu sana. Please introduce yourself and just, yeah.
Thank you, Salma, for that awesome work you're doing there. I have been having some network issues. I hope you can hear me now. So my name is Omache Thomas. I'm the Vice President at the Youth Advisory Board in Mombasa County. Our work is to advocate for the SRHR rights of young people in all their divinations. And I'm glad to be part of this day, the conversation, and I'm so much happy from what I've heard from the panelists. It's so enriching. I hope I also give my input as from my side here. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Omache. And at least kuna kuwa na balance, ka gender kiasi, eh? So sometimes we're being told women we are very aggressive, eh? Tunakuja na moto. So it's good to have that balance so we can hear from both sides and know what is happening. Because I believe all of us, we engage with the young and young at heart, eh? And we want the right information. That's why we are here. Lucy, I'm so keen on what you're doing because you are already on the ground and you have been working closely with the young people in terms of using the internet. Now we are in the ICT world and we have to engage. We have to include ourselves whether we like it or not. And you know the information better because now we were talking about the challenges a person from Ushago faces. Now a person who's kwa mtaa, Nairobi, ako kwa base, kazi yake ni kagox, kasoda kale akatoboe kwa kamsumari pale katikati, akunywe kasoda kake atoe form, kakonyagi kamwok. So wanasema kumwok sahi, hiyo ndio sheng sahi. Wanaongelelea nini kwa base? Unajua? So how do we get that information kwa my boys? Because Lisa, you said something about humbling yourself when you're going to the ground and to the community talking about this issue. And Lucy, you are dealing with the digital world. Able to changamkie basi.
Well, we have to accept that we cannot reach to everyone. That is something that we have to all accept because now we also have the rural setting, and there it's even much of a challenge because they can't even access the internet to say, or even they don't have the phones. So leveraging on and working closely with the community peer providers, to say like young peer providers, this is a very good body that actually works, that is well informed and works very closely with the community. And here we also have the community health system and volunteers and workers where they go to door giving this information. So as an organization that is, or as an initiative that is well versant on the digital space, it's also very important to acknowledge that there is also this other community bodies that can as well amplify the message across the communities and also the youth groups. So tapping into these youth groups, youth peer providers, community health volunteers, and all, and at the county level and also at the national level, just tapping into the already existing bodies like the Youth Advisory Council, which then translates to other young people within all the wards, and it is more systematic and more organized in terms of even linking them to opportunities. Because I have heard that these bodies work closely with the government, and the government as well works closely with these already existing bodies, because they're well organized, they're well structured, so they're well placed to even desiccate or disseminate information and disseminate opportunities to the other young people who are ground, comma base, and all that. Something else I need to also just flag out is young people are very innovative. That one we must accept, because with the use of digital media, it does not limit us to only engage with young people from the digital space, because we have seen a lot of innovations across board, where we have applications even that tend to work for a common Wanjiko in the community, where she can just type in an SMS and get SMS back. So there's the USSD interventions that are ongoing, there are the applications that are ongoing. So what I can say is also there is a lot of innovations that are actually going on, even at the community level. So we should also just acknowledge that and also tap into that to also ensure that we build capacity of these individuals who are actually developing easy hubs, and also just create opportunities, as we have already said. So this is also an opportunity, an employment opportunity, because an application is something that can be used even across the region. And we have seen the Nairobi University recently just launched an application for sexual reproductive health. And this is a very good platform and innovation that we are seeing in the space. Yeah, thank you, and back to you, Salma.
Thank you so much. I believe that we have Martha back. And I just want to go to Martha direct, then we'll come back with the questions from the panelists. Thank you to everyone who is tuning in from Facebook: Veronica, D, Maria, Kathie, blessings. Keep sharing the hashtag is Straight Talk Live. Back to you, Martha. I hope you can hear us and are ready for us, so that we can hear from the youth and they can share some questions with the panel, because I have exciting panelists over here, Manze. They are so wise, man. They're making my work so easy. Thank you so much, panelists. Thank you. And back to you, Martha, please. Kwagrao, form ni gani?
Hello, Salma. Can you repeat your question?
Yes, I just want to know what's happening on the ground, and if you were listening in on the conversation, and if the young girls over there that are so empowered have questions for our panelists, so that they can answer and share with us with regards to World Sexual Health Day.
Thank you very much, my abled Salma. I have a quite few guys who wanted to share on their perspective about this incredible day, and I have a lady called Mary. Maybe you speak on what we've just discussed here.
Oh, so my take was there's no inclusivity yet in the rural sectors. Yeah, in the rural sectors. And and so I think there's also not a lot of diversity in those rural sectors because most of them don't have the information and they're still biased on issues of diversity.
Thank you. Back to you, Salma. So whatever we are discussing here is more of inclusivity, how the information is really essential during the pandemic, and how can we really reach out to the grassroots. And one of the key points that Mary mentioned was on the aspect of inclusivity regarding gender parity. And our sexuality as well. So back to you.
Thank you so much, Martha, who is live from Isili. And I just want to go back to Fahe and Alfred, because I haven't talked to you, and you've heard that we also have that issue that they have pointed out on inclusivity, because it's a challenge, and also the minority, people living with disabilities, the LGBTQI, where do we classify? Because this is about inclusivity for all. And we're still getting that there are many challenges in Kenya in terms of inclusivity. We're not including everyone in this information. So some even have to run away to other countries to get their rights even heard. You understand me? So inclusivity in terms of digital, using the digital platform. How do we get this information out there, make it more inclusive in a way that it is not attacking people, but also we are trying to inform them of what is happening and how they can get the right information and the services they need to, to get on by, to not feel discriminated, to not feel stigmatized and whatnot. So I'll start with you, Alfred, then Fahi.
Okay, thank you so much. When it comes to inclusivity, first, we must ensure how can we make this information palatable to everyone. Echoing what Lisa said in terms of partnerships and collaboration, how can we link different methods and systems of advocacy with the digital space? How can we link those people using thespians in the community? How can we link those people using graffiti in the community? How can we link those people using other form of art, maybe like music, and amplify their voices through the digital space? And then the other thing is, how can we use the already empowered people in our community to get like a leeway to penetrate into the community at the grassroots level and give out the information? And then the other thing also is including different groups of people, because at most time we work on assumptions that if it's addressing issues affecting the sexual minorities or people with disabilities, you may get at most time we don't include them. And if it's including them, then let's not include them as one person representing the umbrella. Let's have specific people representing other people who face same problems and want same needs. So doing so, we will be addressing the actual needs on the ground of the people rather than the perceived needs, yeah, because at most time we have very good strategies, but we don't address the actual things, because we at most time we exclude those people, like people with disabilities and sexual minorities. So I think it's high time we see how we can make the information, how we can use the community champions to penetrate to the grassroots level, and then how can we use their power to bring more people on board, and then acknowledge the form at which they want the information to be packaged, yeah, because the strategy used maybe in Nairobi will not work to that youth in Samburu, because maybe the youth in Nairobi, or the young person or the adolescent person in Nairobi will
I think we have there's in a hang up. I'm just saying it's like a music beat. You know, you have to make the conversation a bit exciting. Anyway, we'll get back to you, Alfred, but I got some points from you. Yes, sorry about that, guys. Sorry for the technical hitch, but we are back and live. So Lisa and Lucy, Luli. Anyway, I can be comic sometimes. Engaging community bodies, working with peer providers, working with social workers. Inclusivity, I feel like it has been a taboo in our society, and the more we get into it, it becomes a sensitive topic. And today we are talking about Sexual Health Day, which is about the mind, the physical well-being, you know, mental awareness, you know, just being okay and being aware of your surroundings, being aware of your body, knowing your body autonomy, and the diverse that we have, the cultural norms that we have, religion being an aspect. Now, you have talked, Lisa, you have talked about partnerships, and you have said it is more about engaging and partnering with the government bodies and engaging with the community bodies and the community at large. But now we have the older generation that is not ready to accept such things. You understand me? We still have that challenge whereby even talking to your parent about your body, what you're going through in terms of menstrual health and whatnot, it's still a challenge. And now we have all this information, and we don't want this information to be gotten wrongly to our peers and the young people, the future. So how do we disseminate this information? How do we engage with the young at heart? Because I don't like calling them old. They are young in their hearts. They're young at heart. How do we engage with them? And especially in terms of inclusivity when it comes to people living with disability and the sexual minority. Because if we start, kuna hiyo term pia, people living with, those terms also confuse people. So it's like you are being grouped and you're still a person. So how do we merge that gap, and how do we engage the government, and how do we engage this community in terms of digital era? And yes, we are using hashtags, and yes, we are active on social media, but still we're being fought.
Okay, thanks.
I think
Salma,
I'll
for
start,
that.
and then I'll go to Fahi after that. Lisa.
Okay, thanks for that. And I think I'll share some experiences just to give a couple of examples. So first things first, personally, I always approach inclusivity issues through collaborating or engaging opposition, because there's no work that does not come without opposition. And sometimes you actually have to sit down and, analyze where the opposition are coming from, or sort of get to understand where they're coming from, so that you're able to engage them and demystify some of their, because I believe most of the people in the opposition side usually base their facts on myths and misconceptions. Actually, they are not facts. They base their, opinion from myths and misconception. And that is where engaging opposition using an evidence-based approach really comes in. What I mean is, sometimes you can reach out to them and share evidence-based data on some of these issues that are actually affecting adolescent girls, young women, young people in their communities. Yeah. So if you come with them with evidence, it is very difficult to dispute evidence. And then sometimes, I know we as advocates, we really want, to create change with so much passion, but we also need to, to approach with empathy. What I mean by empathy is understanding the opposition as well, the way you'd want them to understand you, and move from opposition and coming to your side. Yeah. So also being sensitive to some of the cultural, how do I put it? Being sensitive to some of the cultural practices or ways in how different cultures communicate, and also engaging some of these, you've called them the young at heart, or the elderly, if I may say. I can give an example. I'm currently doing a project on FP in a very, very conservative community. And one of the approaches that I used was forming community champions. And this community champions group does not have young people at all. Actually, it has the young at heart, that is the elderly group. And what we did is, first of all, understanding where they're coming from, also providing them with accurate evidence and data about some of these issues that we want to address, and how some of these issues are no longer applicable in the modern world. For example, some retrogressive cultural practices. And then now building their capacity and giving them accurate information and knowledge, so that now you turn them from opposition to being champions. And it was a very crazy idea at first, because people were asking me, how can the elderly champion for young people's rights? Or how can the elderly, who most of them are the custodians of the taboos? Yeah, we actually need to remember that part. The elderly groups are usually the custodians of taboos. So how do you move them from, being opposition to now champions? And we did all those things. And right now, I can honestly attest that they are the ones running media campaign shows in their local communities, and holding barazas to educate people on why young people should have access to FP, and how it is reducing teen pregnancies in their communities, and how it will eventually, turn out from a socioeconomic aspect to develop their communities. Yeah. So my take on this is tackling inclusivity from using empathy, using, being innovative in some of our ideas. We don't have to be so rigid or always follow the book. We can always use creative ways to engage opposition. And honestly, I believe sexual and reproductive health rights is a holistic thing. It's not just about the reproductive aspect. It's not just about I need to have freedom to, enjoy sex in a safe environment with a safe partner and without judgment. It also goes back to the psychological aspect, the emotional aspect, even the financial aspect. Yeah. So let us also approach it from a holistic approach, so that it's always easier for people to understand and get a buy-in of what it is that we are really advocating for. And lastly, always remember to include the law. The law in Kenya says that every person has the right to access quality healthcare, which also includes reproductive health. So let us always make sure that we back up our strategies with the law and policies and guidelines that people can easily understand. And that way they will not only build their knowledge, but there'll also be room for demand creation. Now, those people who are not buying in now they'll be in the buy-in, and they'll be the ones demanding for these rights for themselves and even other groups. And also, as Alfred had mentioned, including some of the vulnerable groups, and maybe using terms and references that are friendly, and that, because sometimes we realize that some of these terms actually sideline the groups. For example, I recently learned that the term people living with HIV is no longer being used, and there's a more friendlier term. I think people living under care, if I'm correct, maybe Fahe can correct me if I'm wrong, but using terms that are more inclusive and people don't feel sidelined. When you're in a group of people, you actually feel like you're part of them. This will also help to reduce stigma. Yeah, okay, I think I'm talking so much. Let me just give the others opportunities. Thank you.
Oh my God, but that's what we want. We want that information because getting it is so hard. And Fahe Kwanza, there's the term that we need to learn, the new term that is being used, eh? People living with care, amani, yeah, because is it my definition? So it's good to be informed and not misinformed, but also to research. And that's why we have you here with us, Fahe, and you're going to talk to us your challenges working with people living with HIV on the ground using social media. How has it been, and what are the challenges, and how are you working on the challenges to find solutions for them?
Thank you so much, Salma. For now, the term, before I dive into the question, the term that we currently use are recipients of care. So, and the term does not ideally apply to people living with HIV alone. It just applies to people who have conditions that are long-term, but go about doing their businesses. They're not bedridden. So patients is far different from recipients of care. So it's more inclusive and more dignifying to call people who are living with HIV positively recipients of care. So back to the conversation. Salma, first, I think I need to mention that sexual health, when viewed affirmatively, requires a positive and respectful approach to sexuality and sexual relationships, as well as the possibility of having pleasurable and safe sexual experiences, which are free from coercion, discrimination, and violence. So if we understand this, then it will mean that we have to look at people from the point of empathy, like Lisa said. And what is empathy? Empathy is just saying that, yes, I do not understand who you are, but I'm willing to learn. So then by then, giving that kind of approach, people like the minority groups, the LGBTQ persons, people living with HIV, they normally feel excluded, especially we do not have any programming around the LGBTQ, especially when it comes to sexual reproductive health. So I think ideally, when we are trying to come up with programs or approaches towards these solutions, we have to bring in the key players to give us their experiences. We have to listen, because these are things that are affecting them, and the solutions, it's them who know what is gonna work. So the moment we try to program these things for them, ideally we mean that we're excluding people. And that is why we keep talking about inclusion in all spaces. So when you're talking about people living in HIV or the minority groups, I'd say they are excluded because most of them are not consulted. And actually we have all of them in the world, like whether it's in the rural settings, whether it's in the informal settlements, whether it's in the suburbs, we have all those people there. But my question would be, have we given them a listening ear, approached them and asked, what is it? Because I believe the opposition is there, yes, but it's there from the angle that they are contesting these issues because they haven't given the audience a time to, talk about these issues. And the way Lisa has said, using the law, we understand that the Constitution says that everyone has a right to health, for instance. So it does not discriminate whether you're bisexual, whether you're lesbian, whether you're living with HIV. It doesn't. It just says you have a right to healthcare as a person. So from that angle, I think for me, to inform all these programming, initiatives that are coming up, let us approach these issues with empathy, the way Lisa said. Let us be respectful. Let us give people time to show us their experiences. And from there, we can get solutions that are working for the people. Thank you. Back to you, Salma.
Wow. Deep, deep, deep. Empathy, time, also patience. Work with them, respect them. There's no one who's bigger than the other. And no one wanted to be in a situation that they don't want to be. We all find ourselves in crises, and the best way to work on that crisis is to make sure that we work together as a team and find solutions. We're taking a short break and we'll be back, okay, with Alfred talking about people living with disabilities. And thank you so much, Mr. Thomas, for joining us again. Unatupotelea sana. Thank you so much, panelists. We are going for a short break and we'll be right back. This is Straight Talk Live. The hashtag is Sexual Health Day and the hashtag is Straight Talk Live.
Guys.
Hi everybody.
Hi guys, my name is Jenny Machule, Taragas High School.
My name is Rafael Juma from Tata County Student School.
My name is Maureen Shitawa. I'm from Tenascals High School located in Nakuru County.
Mini Matu, Makimaina, Ika High.
Hi guys, I'm Belinda Sifuna, Machuli Girls School from 4.
I'm in Form 3 and you're watching Straight Talk TV.
Watching Straight Talk TV.
I'm in Form 4, the school is in Machakos County, and you're watching Straight Talk TV. Keep watching.
And we are back. We are back. Thank you so much, guys, for being with us. Thank you for everyone who's sharing on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. Thank you so much. Today is Sexual Health Day, 4th September 2021. And I have my guests, Lisa Marianne, Alfred Abuka, Fahe Kerubo, and Lucy Kombe, Martha Kombe, who's on the ground in Isili. Yes, and she's joining us. And also Mr. Omache Thomas. Karibu sana. So before we get back to Alfred, because I want you to talk about inclusivity with people with persons living with disabilities. I also hope that there is a term for that we have learned a new term, recipients of care. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's someone living with HIV. It's just someone who has a condition that is long term. I hope I'm correct. If I so anyway,
let me a bit. Just to add, it's ideally a person who has a condition and they go about their daily activities. You know, they can parent, they can go to work, but you know they are under treatment, so we call them recipients of care. Anyone, even if it's a cancer patient who's on therapy, but they're ideally going about meeting their day-to-day activities. So yeah, I felt the need to add that. Thank you back to you, Salma.
We'll see why you worry. We got you. That's why we're here. We got you. And that's why I said even long term, because yeah, it means someone who has cancer, you know. It depends on any condition. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're not human, you're living. So anyway, I want to go back to the ground with Martha in Isili. She's sitting in there with some empowered youth who are ready to share with us some notes. And then we'll go back to the podium and the panelists so that they can share their final remarks and also give advice on the way forward on what we need to do. Yes. Martha, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you. And we were just discussing. Guys, you can just share it out.
Martha, are you with us?
Yes, we are live. Yes, I'm with you.
Our way forward is to actually promote inclusivity for the young people, both in rural and urban, areas that cannot access digital space, and the coordination of CSO in the grassroots, in how to make programs that can reach to young people that do not have information, especially in Eastleigh sub-county. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Do you have anything else to mention, including religious leaders or us as young people, we are entrenched in religion? Do you think it has a part to play?
Yeah, basically, if I would say if maybe we could do more collaborations with religious leaders, because they have the say in in the religious places. If they could promote things like SRHR rights and stuff, then more community members would be open to everything, to how to help the youths, how to help and lessen the teenage pregnancies in our community. So I think religious leaders have a very big part in our talk here.
Thank you, guys. And I have a very special person. She's very much into mental health. She's a young person, and just a quick one. She wanted to mention how integration of mental health and reproductive health is very essential. And during this pandemic, that we see many young people dying or committing suicide. Well, what is your message just to today on this special day on that aspect?
Well, thank you, Mother. My message today to the youth is sharing is caring. Let us not die with our problems. I believe if we can share something out and maybe we can find a solution to it. I am very passionate about mental health, and it pains me when you see young people committing suicide out of something that maybe when they could have shared it, it could have been solved. And I'm telling the youth, it's okay not to be okay.
Thank you very much. So we're turning it on from live Eastleigh Health Center, Family Health Options Kenya. And those were our remarks as young people from this region. We are not only speaking to young people from FHOK or from Nairobi, we're speaking out as voices to this nation. Thank you very much, guys. It was a lovely, lovely session. Back to you, Salma.
Yes, thank you so much, Martha, and greetings to you all for the good job, good work, blessings and love. It is okay not to be okay, and sharing is caring, and that is why we are here with the best panels in the world, the best panelists in the world, Yani. So back to my people here with me on the digital era: Lisa Marianne, Lucy Kombe, Karibu Sana, Alfred. I just need you to just 1 minute to talk about persons living with disability, and then there's the caption of inclusivity has come out, kabisa. Something we were not thinking about. We were just thinking about the digital era and how, but inclusivity. And we got to know more about why it is important to respect one another, why it is important to show empathy, to have the right information, and to know when is the right time to get this information out there, because there's the aspect of religion and culture that is a big challenge, not only in Kenya but also in Africa. And the persons living with disabilities, people living with HIV, that we're calling the recipients of care now. That is the official word. And I hope I will make it as random as possible. So Fahe, please bear with me. And also the sexual minorities. So Alfred, just a short summary of what you wanted to say. And Mr. We have lost him again. We have lost Omache again. He was supposed to talk to us, but Alfred, back to you.
Okay, thank you so much. For people with disability, okay, in addressing any issue, correct information is so vital. So here comes how accommodative are our digital spaces. What are the right channels that we can use to disseminate information? Because when it comes to video, do our videos or our engagement online accommodate everyone, and specifically people with disability? Do our video have subtitles? And if they have subtitles, are they large enough for those people with low vision? And then the other thing, in Kenya, we have three national language: English, Kiswahili, and Kenyan Sign Language. Are our policies available in Kenyan Sign Language for that person who has a hearing impairment? And are our policies also available in Braille for those people with a visual impairment? So the medium in which we bring the information to the people with disability, it should also be considered, because we say Kenyan Sign Language is an official Kenyan language, but we don't have policies for people with hearing impairment. Sorry. So how can we bring those people on board? How can we ensure that those people get correct information? So for me, it's basically on how we can make the information readily available, readily understandable, and readily accessible to everyone, regardless of their condition. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you for everyone who's tuning in. Maria, Kathia, Evelyn, Leonida, Joel, Dale, Becca, Stella, and Vivian. Keep sharing the conversation. We are here for you. We are here because of you, and we are here to be informed. All of us, it's a learning process. Nambarikio sana. And what I'm getting from this conversation, safe spaces in also a digital era, right? Safe spaces in terms of how do we accommodate, that's the word you use, accommodating this information for everyone to be included. And this means that if we are talking about the digital era, we are starting from our spaces, be it at home, be it at educational facilities, when we go to the hospitals, when we go to the malls. Is there like a safe box whereby people can actually engage? You know, we need to create these spaces whereby anyone and everyone can get this information, because I go to a mall and maybe I have my menses and I was not aware they were coming, and I've started bleeding and I don't even have the pad. And you know, that's very embarrassing, you know, and I'm in a mall. I believe that we need to create such spaces whereby someone can go and they can get this help. Sikuna customer care. Let there be also a customer care desk for SRHR, not only for the digital world, but for those who cannot reach and get this information. Mr. Omache, glad to have you back. Please share some pointers. As we start wrapping up, I will let everyone share some pointers, and then, yes, we call it a day. Mr. Omache, karibu sana.
So thank you, Salma, and I'm so sorry, team. My gadgets had some break. This digital stuff, sometimes there is some breakdowns, but I've been following some of the conversation, and the panelists have done an amazing job, and they have highlighted a lot of issues, why it's so important for us to talk about sexual reproductive health. And I think this is the true definition of meaningful youth engagement that as young people, we can raise our voices, we can talk to our peers, and we can ensure that we have a secure generation of young people who can make informed health choices. One of the things I'm picking from the panelists, and I think it's about dissemination of the information. Kenya as a country, it has a lot of frameworks that it's all about providing reproductive health to young people. And how many of us, even as young people, understand these frameworks exist, these policies exist that give us our rights to access health care at highest standards. So we also have a duty to ensure that we have this information, and as advocates with all other stakeholders, we need to ensure that we maximize dissemination of information to everybody. I'm also getting a point on how do we ensure that those people who are at the community, at the chini kabisa ya pyramid, how do they reach information in the digital era? We understand that we have different digital spaces, and from the research, over 70% of young people in the whole country, they have access to phones. So we can use diverse strategies, not necessarily using one strategy. We can, I had one of the panelists talking about using the community health strategy. How can we ensure in that community health strategy we include young people? Because what is happening in the world now is peer-to-peer. Then how can we ensure that the community strategy also has the young people in all their categories? Those, when I say in all categories, I mean there are different sexuality, sexual orientation. How do we ensure that we have a strategy that ensures all these young people are reached? So I think that's also a good way to discuss. How do we ensure that even we resource mobilize and support these young people who are ensuring that other peers can access the correct SRH information? Because with this correct information, these young people are able to make informed health choices. So how can we resource mobilize and ensure that these groups are supported? And I also have had, and I think also another thing we should also take into consideration is that the research. How can we support young people to do research on their own problems and also disseminate what they have found from the research to their peers? How can we support these young people? Because we can be talking about existing policies, existing interventions, and without research that can inform other interventions, we can be doing the same thing repeatedly, and we end up doing the wrong thing. Because they say, because like now in the country, even the data that we are having, we are using outdated data mostly. Then how can we use old data to inform the trends or the new things that are happening in the sexual reproductive health world of young people? So we also need to think beyond the comfort zone and try to ensure we empower young people mostly so that they can be champions to their fellow youths, and that way we can achieve sexual health and other health. So I think that is what I can input, unless there is a question, because I missed the most part of the discussion, but I know it has been awesome. Yes, Salma, back to you.
I think, yeah, thank you. Wow, thank you so much for those pointers. Very, very decisive, very informative, very key in the society that we live in right now. And when we say that we want to disseminate this information, and also we want to help and support young people who want to give out this information, it becomes an issue when it comes to resources and funds, number one. Number two, monitoring, we'll say monitor and evaluation. The structure itself, the system itself, is it able to govern the right way to disseminate this information and any kind of funding that comes for young people? Are they able to get the resources and the ICT materials that they need? You know, because there's also a challenging in terms of funding. It might be coming, but is it getting to the right hands? You understand me? And the other thing, before we continue, I think I just want to hear from the ground, because we are having young people on the ground. And the questions that you ask are very, 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 very important. What do they have to say? So, Martha, you are there at Family Health Options Kenya in Eastleigh live with some young people, and they've been listening to what Mr. Omache has been saying. What do you think about it, and what do the youth have to say about it? We cannot get you clearly. Martha, are you live? Martha, you're mute. Martha, you are mute.
Apologies on that. Well, whatever Omari said, it's very essential. And regarding us as young people, especially during this day, we really need to make our leaders accountable. And we were just discussing on issues of coordination right now. That it is very important as CSOs, the gap that we are facing. Tunasema ng'ombe mbili wakipigana nyasi ndizo umia, and we as the beneficiaries are the people that we suffer most when organizations just implement in Asylum. So my guy wanted to speak on the coordination aspect. Do you think like kama sisi young people, what will we benefit, especially when it comes to coordinating? Kama tuseme, for example, if it's coordinate with state or coordinate with another organization, is it what does that mean to young people?
Coordination, especially in grassroots, we have young people in grassroots, and reaching them to the grassroots really means that you care, really means that, this information is for them. So whenever there's no coordination of, CSOs, the young people will be the one. We will continue still speaking about teenage pregnancies, increasing HIV infection, and even people in the community that belong to LGBTQI community will not even get somewhere to voice themselves and to know where to get sexual health information.
Thank you very much. And also to add, coordination is very important. It saves on resources. We've seen a lot of utilization of the already existing resources within the country, the organization. A lot of resources using less effort and less effort, less resources, and we're going to impact a lot of people with diverse intervention. Asante sana.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Omache. Yes, just speak. You haven't spoken.
Yes, maybe to give an input, we also, after the coordination, we also need to find a way of holding the government always commits to a lot of things, a lot of policies, a lot of strategies, but we also need to find a way as young people to know how can we follow up. How are they just commit in writing, but as their financial commitment, what can we do about it as young people? And as young people, we also need to understand, as we're talking about this sexual and reproductive health of young people on this special day, let's also ask ourselves, do we feel that our roles as young people is well defined in these strategies? Even in this digital era, I was trying to look at some research done by TICA, that there are policies, but there is a difference between even the way the service provision is being done and how the policies are spreading. So we really need to have this discussion under that field, so that as young people, we can also be given. Our roles should be defined. Once the government commits to ensure that we access youth-friendly services, young people can access good sexual reproductive health, but also we should also push for our roles to be clearly defined, not just be part of being rubber stamped, and be meaningfully involved, and also as young people ourselves, because we cannot just look it on one side. We should take the initiative of ensuring that we hold accountable everyone who is mandated to ensure that our health is well taken care of, the policies, the commitments that are being met, because we realize that we have a lot of commitments, but how many, even those who are providing these services, they don't know those commitments. There is no financial, there is no accountability. So there is no data. There is a lot under that we can discuss, but I think the discussion is awesome, and was said by the panel, and that is so great, so great. It was an enriching discussion.
Thank you so much. Yes, the rule is the roles of the young people need to be defined in this society, and we hold the majority in the society. We have what it takes to take us to where we want, because we want to be the change that we want to see. And it is up to us to ensure that, despite the challenges that we are facing, when it comes to digital or analog platforms, that we never get tired of giving out the information, because we have the passion, and that is why we are all here. We are. Glory be to God. Anyway, I need you to give me a parting shot, and we'll start with Lisa. The way I started the introductions, I finish in that way, that I want you all to give me just a parting shot for the young people. I've seen your comment on Facebook where you're saying even the digital are not that informed, but also I want you, and thank you so much, Evelyn Acheng, on policy issues, where if we start talking about the frameworks, my God, that is another topic of the day. But as we take the parting shots, maybe those pointers that we have seen, the key pointers on inclusivity, on safe space, on we matter, our roles need to be defined, because even us as young people, it's like we are going through an identity crisis right now, with everything that is happening with this pandemic. Next year we are having elections. We need to give out the right information. We need to give ourselves leaders who will take us to where we need to be. We need to work on our policies and make sure that on the ground they are followed to the letter. We need to be held accountable for what we are doing on the ground. So for parting shots, my people, please, the ball is rolling. Lisa, take it away as we continue na kina Fahe na Ware, Martha na nani, Lucy. Tena Omanji ametuacha kwa mataa, but ni sawa, tunaenda tukizidi.
Thank you, Salma. I'll try not to say much, because sometimes I can talk a lot or talk very fast. So my parting shot for young people is, one, let us package ourselves to be taken seriously. We are always saying nothing for us without us, sometimes our voices are so loud on social media, but then when we're invited to decision-making tables, no one takes us seriously, because we have not packaged ourselves to be taken seriously. You can still have fun, you can share memes, you can do whatever you like to do, but when it comes to serious issues, let us be strategic, and not just packaging yourself, but also strategically taking opportunities in a strategic manner. For example, I know we want to create so much change, but we can't be everywhere. So if we want to create change, let us map some of the strategies that would benefit us. For example, being included in decision-making tables, and ensuring that we take advantage of such opportunities, and make sure that we actually influence such platforms. So let us package ourselves well. Let us make sure we take up opportunities in a strategic manner, and let us remember that mimi ni wewe. So what I would want for myself, let me also ensure that I create a space and an environment for another young person to benefit and enjoy. Yes, much love.
Salma, I think I'm next. That's the order you mentioned. Hello, mention. All right, so
yes, Fahe.
All right, so my parting shot will be this. What comes to mind when we hear the term sexual health? Two things come to mind. One, bodily autonomy. Secondly, accessibility of information, services, and commodities. So for me, my parting shot would be, after all these things that we've discussed, we have policies, we have all these things in place. Us as people who need the services, what are we doing? And that is why I'm here to let the LGBTIQ community know, and especially all the young people, where are you accessing your healthcare, your healthcare needs? Where are you getting, your commodities? Where are you getting your condoms? Where are you getting your information from? So I'm here to let you know that we have hotlines that are here for you. Besides these conversations that we are having, at the end of the day, quality of life means having that initiative of going to get these services, getting this information, and practicing safe sex. So we have hotlines like Nena na Binti hotline that serves all young people in all their diversities. It's very interactive. It's just a click away. It's just a phone call away. After all these discussions, we all need to do something. We all need to change our behavior, towards the change we desire. So I think my parting shot will be that, asking young people to take the initiative and go to these places and access this information, access these services, because quality of life means being healthy, and health life means wealth. So I think that will be my parting shot, and asking people to have a happy World Sexual Day. Be aware, tell your friend. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow, hey, wisdom too. Ha. Leo mimi linalala ni itakuwa tu ni wisdom ina blink tu. Lucy.
Yeah, well, I can say today has been a very good discussion. Just to highlight these issues that we face every day. So my parting shot would be one, let's be very intentional as CSOs in just ensuring that we have these vulnerable, these minority groups, these marginalized groups that we have spoken about in the table as we are talking about these issues. On the table, I mean, let's include them to have their voices and their experiences out there, and even integrating, even in terms of programming, let's also integrate these people in our programming as well. So my parting shot also will be to turn it on today and every day in terms of maximizing the use of the digital media. And this is not only for young people and young women and girls in our society, but also it cuts across. Let's leverage on these existing platforms to make a change and bring impact in our communities, and also just to amplify these issues that we face on a daily basis. That's it for me. And also let's also normalize dissemination of this SRHR information. Let's normalize popularizing and just having briefs and packaging of this information to fit each context, including the persons with disability. Yeah, so that's it from me, and thank you. Let's turn it on today and every day. Back to you, Salma.
Wow. Yes, and the gentleman in the building. Muna, hii mchezo mko nayo sielewi. I am not Mr. Alfred. Then Mr. Mache, please be on standby. Hello.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, for me, for young people, yeah, it's about us owning the space, taking advantage of the number we have, Yeah, and then also us holding the government accountable and holding also our fellow young people accountable. We had the commitment on ICPD 25. We had the commitments that the president made. We had also the recent commitment on the generation inequality. What are we doing at our personal level, ensuring that the commitment comes to full realization? And then the other thing also, when it comes to CSOs, we should keep in mind that this is not a competition of who is having maybe a big activity, who is having a big outreach. It's all about how can we help the young people, how can we ensure that we have access to quality information, access to quality services, and access to quality commodities at timely. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Omache. I'm just writing the notes, then I gather them up as we finalize and say goodbye to everyone. Mr. Omache, uko backstage. Pole, sikujua ni VIP. Yes, Mr. Omache, we are waiting for your parting shot. Mr. Omache? Mr. Omache, can you hear us? Martha, any parting shot from you? Your last parting shot words for the audience and everyone who's watching?
Well,
You are mute.
yeah.
We can't hear
Well,
you.
we've
Okay, now we
heard a
can.
lot about of today's celebration, and we're turning it on as we're turning it on from Isili Health Center, Isili area. We are urging other young people out there to turn it on. And as our able Lucy mentioned, keep turning it on.
Okay, thank you guys so much for just being with us and sharing this information. My parting shot is just combining every note that I have had from each and every one of you. First of all, there are hotlines. Don't feel ashamed to call. Tumesikia kuna Nena na Binti and there's Auntie Jane hotline. And I think they are on the screen. So please call those numbers. They are free and get the information that you need. Call them and get the information that you need if you feel that you don't have a safe space near you. And if you have someone who's on social media and is getting this information, make sure you disseminate the information to anyone who might need it. Yes, health is wealth. Take care of yourself, take care of your mind, take care of your body, take care of yourself. When it's too much, take a break, you know? We need intentional CSOs that can work together to combine efforts to make sure that everyone gets the information that is right with regards to sexual reproductive health and rights. Not just because we are having a day to celebrate World Sexual Health Day. It should be an everyday event because it affects each and every one of us in our communities. We should also realize the importance of inclusivity to each and every one of us, getting their rights heard and getting the information right out there. Be it they need ARVs, make sure that we have safe spaces in hospitals, schools, and wherever we can be, even at home, because charity begins at home. Turn it on. Make sure that you are active on your social media and get the information right out to everyone who might need it. And never get tired, because that's what we do. We have the passion, we have the ability, and we have the capability. And that's why we are here. And we need not to stop right now. We need to continue with the conversations on social media. Let's make it a habit of continuing the I even wanted to say the conservation. So it's also a matter of climate justice, because even climate wise we are affected. Kwanza kukiwa na baridi, si utataka kutafuta nani? Unajua? Anyway, make sure that we include everyone. Dissemination of information. Do your research kindly. Do your research. Don't be that person wa kusikia na kuambiwa. Unaambiwa no plant inaingizangwa mahali na si hapo inafaa kuingizwa. Kindly do your information, get the right information. We have even centers that we need to work with the youth and the government offices that are around us, because they are around us. Go to that place, go to that office and make sure akuwezi kosa ofisi ya youth that has the right information that you need. Na ukipata mtu yuko rude, take it to Twitter and let's deal with. We are going to make sure that we get things right. The law has to do it right, because it is up to us to make sure that the law follows all the protocols that it needs to follow, to make sure that the youth are served well, because we matter. We matter. Mr. Chana, you are back. Please, your parting shot before niendelee, because naona ni kama na rap. You are mute. We can't hear you.
Sorry. You can hear me now. I was saying, now that we've realized that most of the issues that are affecting our sexual reproductive health, they are basically based on increased opposition that is actually, most of it is misinformed. We ask all our young people that let's get these facts, let's understand, let's get the correct information. You've been told there are many hotlines. Kindly utilize them. Most of these hotlines are very free. Ask your questions anonymously, and I think you will get, sorry for that, and I think you're able to get a lot of information, which as the young people, we are the majority. So if we have the right information, we can change these narratives, we can populate the air with the correct information, and by doing so, we are going to improve the sexual reproductive health of young people. We are going to reduce the cases of unintended teenage pregnancies. We are going to reduce discrimination, and each and every person is going to access the quality services and the quality life that they deserve. So let's utilize these online spaces, digital spaces, to ensure that we get the information, because that is where the problem is. With the wrong information, we got it wrong from the decision-making points to even at the ground. And also, as young people, let's invite ourselves, even where we are not invited, as long as our issues are being discussed there. Let's go there and let our voices be heard. Don't be intimidated. We are the majority and we can influence the decisions as much as we want, but let's also focus on having the right information. So for me, I think that is the best way to leave it, as now as we have turned it on as the theme of this year. Let's also turn on our data in getting the right information. Visit the websites. There is a lot of websites, like for instance, LVCT Health has launched this, in this year. They launched a website that is young people friendly. It has a lot of information that concerns about our sexual reproductive health. We have Straight Talk here. There is there, and they post every time. They post a lot of information with sexual reproductive health. So let's turn ourselves on this cause and let our voices be heard. We can we have all that takes to ensure that we have the change that we want. It's us to take our responsibilities diligently and with great determination. So thank you. I think that will be my parting shot for today.
Wow. Asante sana, wisdom. Hey. Thank you so much for the panelists. Wow. Let's own our spaces. Let us own our spaces. Let us invite ourselves where we are not invited, because it is our youth decisions that are being made. And it is our right to know. And it is our right to say, Apana, this is not the way it's supposed to go, because are you on the ground? Do you have the right information? I am a youth and I am suffering from this. So let's be invited. Let's invite ourselves. Let's use this space to make sure that everyone gets the information right. A safe space whereby every digital information can be the right information. Don't just put bundles over there. Uone view sasa. Tafadhali. Be informed. Ni muhimu. Tafadhali. Let's be informed. You don't know if you will get you will get the right information. Maybe after you're looking for a job, and these people standing in front of your faces on your screens on your phone have the information that you need to get you to where you want. Let's network, and it will be a net worth. I have been your host, Salma Murakaru. Call me Salma Queen. I'm also a reggae artist. I use reggae music as activism. So you can go listen to my music and subscribe. Siku host hapa na yap. Hii pia natumia kuimba kidogo. Sawa sawa? And I have been your host, and thank you to everyone who has been with us. The hashtag is Sexual Health Day. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Alfred. Thank you, Mr. Onchana. Thank you, Fahe. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Masa. Thank you kwa grao hapo ukifanya mambo. Thank you so much. God bless you all. God bless the efforts of young people. Let's be empowered. Let's be informed, and let's be the change that we want to see. God bless you. God bless Africa. God bless Kenya, and God bless everyone. It's been real. Straight Talk Live, the hashtag, and happy Sexual Health Day 2021.
Got to come and show the youth the way. All the men and women of tomorrow, yeah. They are the youths of today. And if you want a brighter future, be careful of what you do and what you say.
When I look in our world today, do right for tomorrow, so the youths will have a place to play. Whoa. So many youths get slaves, so die as a done before they reach to age 21. So tell them say crime don't pay. What we say the man and woman of tomorrow.
They are the youths of today, and if you want a brighter future, you got to come and show the youths the way. They're the man and woman of tomorrow.
Hi everybody.
Hi guys, my name is Jenny Machula, Taragas High School.
My name is Rafael Juma from Tata County Student School.
My name is Maureen Shitawa. I'm from Shenas Girls High School located in Nakuru County.
Mini Matu, Matimaina, Ika High.
Hi guys, I'm Belinda Sifuna, Mashonaland Girls School from 4.
I'm in Form 3 and you're watching Straight Talk TV.
Watching Straight Talk TV.
I'm in Form 4, the school is in Machakos County, and you're watching Straight Talk TV. Keep watching.